Parliament, President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to make his last State of the Nation address in his first time in office. We are asking you tonight, has the government delivered on its promises over the last 4 years? Keep talking to us. The hashtag is the big question on Twitter. You can also text us on 22422. Our guest in studio tonight, Majority Leader in the National Assembly, Duale, and Deputy Minority Leader, Duale and Midiwo. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time for us. If we can look at the Twitter poll now, results as you keep tweeting. Okay, we're not yet ready for that. First, let's take a look first at what happened the last time President Kenyatta made the State of the Nation address in Parliament. This is what transpired.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Justin Muturi.
And I'll start with you, Honorable Duale and Midiwo. We should not, or do we, or should we expect anything like this again tomorrow? Because from Gashuri's story today, speaking to so many parliamentarians, there were some in the opposition who are saying they may boycott this. So we want to know, first, should you expect such a thing? And secondly, is there a unified position from the opposition, either to attend, to boycott, or it's every individual for themselves?
No, I think Gashuri is spoiling our good name. There's nothing like that. Nobody's planning.
Some MPs have talked. Some MPs have talked to him, and they've told him that they don't plan on attending.
I have received several phone calls from the media, not just citizen, insinuating or that kind of anticipation. But I think as much ado about nothing. We in the opposition, we are now ready for the next government. We really are not paying attention to this failed Jubilee government. We know that the president can come and will come, but I don't think much will change across the country. I don't think there is anything that will inspire confidence after the last 3 State of the Union addresses.
You don't expect anything significant tomorrow. That's what you're saying?
No, I don't. I think it's a formality. I think there's nothing to make noise about. I don't even think he will say anything controversial. I think it's just a constitutional requirement.
Okay, very briefly, I want to look at the Jubilee pledges shortly, but before that, Honorable Duale, what should we expect tomorrow?
Number one, I think the President is in Parliament tomorrow to fulfill his constitutional obligation as per Article 132C, Roman 1 and 2, and of course Article 240, subsection 7. So the President is not coming to Parliament at the invitation of anybody. The Constitution obligates him to do that. And the President is coming to do 3 things. Number one, to tell the country the fulfillment of his government based on Article 10 of the Constitution, the values of Article 10. And 2, he is coming to tell the country his international obligation, Kenya's international obligations in the last 1 year. And finally, is coming to present, among the documents going to present, it will be the national security status of the country, which Parliament will debate for the next 3 days. And of course, the President is coming, being an election year, to highlight the achievement, which are many. You know, those who have no ears and don't want to see, and those who don't want to hear, those who have got their head that they don't want to comprehend, it's a different thing. But from healthcare to education to security to infrastructure to farmers, agricultural farmers, the President has something to say, and they're all tangible, and even Honorable Jakoyo's constituency, some of the achievements are very much visible.
Okay, Jakoyo will respond to that shortly. First, let's take a look at some of the Jubilee pledges. Like Duale has pointed out, there are a lot of things to talk about tomorrow. You'll appreciate that we cannot cover everything tonight.
Yes.
But let's just take a look at some of the pledges that were made by the Jubilee government. 7 to 10% economic growth. You talked about double-digit economy. You said you'll cut the waste and fight corruption. You reduce public debt. You'll add 5,000 megawatts of electricity to the national grid. You'll upgrade 5 national stadia, increase road network by 13,000 kilometers, and laptops for school-age children, among other issues.
Absolutely.
From here, Honorable Duale, first, the economy has never grown by double digits, number one. The public debt even soared over the last 4 years. 5,000 megawatts of electricity were not added to the national grid, although there was a lot of connectivity to individuals and families. But only 615 megawatts was added according to KNBS. 5 regional stadia, nothing about that we've had so far.
Hussein, you know, you are very selective. You're very selective.
Right. Like I said, we cannot cover everything.
No, you're very selective. But let me see. Let me first give you the ones that we have done,
right.
and the ones that we feel we are yet to achieve, and maybe achieved 60%. We promised the people of Kenya free maternity health care. We are doing 67%. When we took over, it was 32%. We have said, in order to have equity in our country education system, we have said no child, whether poor or rich, will pay examination fee, 2.9 billion every year. The children of the schools in Honorable Jakoyo do not pay examination fee. We have said we are going to do 13,000 roads. We have so far done 6,800 tarmacked across the country. Regions like Northeastern, which 54 years ago have never seen a tarmac. We are now doing Nuno Modogashe. We are doing Elwak, Ramu, everywhere.
Right.
We have completed the SGR. We said we are going to modernize our rail network. 1st of June 2017 at 8 a.m. the first train will leave Nairobi for Mombasa. We have said we are going to invest in security. This is the only government that has reduced the ratio of 1 policeman to the citizen. This is the only government that has equipped our security system, invested in intelligence. And that's why today you see, from 2013-2014 when we took over, today Kenya is more safer from external threats, from the Al-Shabaab. But let me now come to the economic growth, the double digit, that will be achieved the moment. I've not finished. If you go to energy, we have reduced the price of electricity in our country by about 47%. 47%. Look at your bill. We have, when we were taking over, there were 2.5 million Kenyans who had electricity in their homes. Today, there are 5.6 million, 54%. The kind of investment we have put in energy infrastructure, in road infrastructure, in rail infrastructure, in the modernization of the port and the airports, will ultimately, in 2, 3, 4 years, increase and take us to the double-digit economic growth. The stadiums, yes. Maybe we have not done it. In this year's budget...
You have not done it.
In this year's budget, 2016-2017, we have just finished, we have 2 or 3 stadiums.
So there you did not achieve it. You agree you failed. You did not achieve five.
Not failing.
Because you promised within the first 5 years.
No, you know what I was saying.
Although we are in the first 4 years.
Every government, every democratic government, if it achieves between 70 to 80%, and that's why we are telling the people of Kenya, give President Uhuru Kenyatta another 5 years for him to complete the 30-40% left.
Let me bring with you to respond to such.
You know, Hussein, hope you furnish Duale with the tape of what he has just said.
Absolutely.
You know, we in public service, we should always strive to leave our country a better place than we found it. Unga was 80 shillings when Duale and Co took over. Now it's 145 shillings. He is talking about 6,000 kilometers of road. Where are they? Does Duale live in Kenya? Do you know from Mombasa to Busia is only 900 kilometers. So 6,000 is Mombasa to Busia 6 times.
6,000 kilometers of road. The evidence is there. It's found in Game, in Bondo, in Mombasa.
No.
If you want that, the president will tomorrow, in fact, give the evidence.
No.
Of all the roads.
And as a parliamentarian,
that adds to 6,000 kilometers.
Yes. Don't relax. You know you had your time. You say you promised stadium. Now you're saying you will put it in the budget.
No, it is there.
And you expect Kenyans to believe you. You know one thing which you don't have luxury to in 21st century is a stupid population. Kenyans are watching you, and I can tell you, when you come on national television and brag that you have improved security,
yes,
let me tell you, you are not listening to yourself. When you say there will be an SGR train commission,
you don't think they have the government has improved on security?
No, there's nothing they have done. There is the threats of Shabab.
From the look of it, the threats have gone down.
Didn't Al-Shabaab kill many Kenyans just last month? In fact, even the president of Kenya never even sent a word of condolence.
Right. You're talking about what happened in Somalia.
We're talking about no.
You're talking about
they were killing Kenyans. In fact, I looked at the tape. They were not killing Somalis. If you have improved security for Kenyans, there should be no Kenyan dying. The dead people are Kenyans.
Whether it is combat or you're talking about civilians back home.
Exactly. Exactly.
But back home, because even countries that had put security alerts have since revised that. Are you saying you have not seen any difference at all in security?
Quite frankly, I want to credit NIS because I think they have
the National Intelligence Service.
Yes. I think they are doing a lot, but I think the security sector is mad in corruption. And I think Jubilee, when it comes to issues of corruption, they lead from the front.
Okay.
But let me say this. Honorable Duale cannot get away with this issue of health as an achievement. Because the PS who engineered the plunder of 5.6 billion shillings is still in office. You have containers sitting in some yard in Mombasa. You are saying you are bringing mobile clinics. Where are they? Kenyans, no. You have a lot of explaining to do to Kenyans.
But Hussein, Hussein, as leaders, free maternity, I said 67%. It's there. Let's go to healthcare. 92 hospitals, about 94 hospitals in our country today have the latest equipment. MRI, let me finish. MRI, dialysis, radiology, all that. Let me finish.
But you're claiming to the things done by county government.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Name one which has been.
Let me finish. The equipment program.
Yeah.
Me and him, we sit in Parliament. The equipment program is under. It's good to be
the leasing program.
The leasing, yes, the medical leasing program in all the 94 hospitals is a function and is budgeted for under the national government.
Okay.
2, I was saying, today there are more Kenyans under this government. I think about 15 to 25% who access the NHIF insurance policy. We are not saying we have not reached universal insurance policy. But what I was saying, the 5.6 billion, number one is not 5.6 billion. The money which was in the supplementary estimate, me and him have done with, the 3 billion. But even say 5.6 billion was stolen. There are institutions mandated by the Constitution which are dealing with. So just because we have one issue here, that should not be the one that you run away with. There are serious achievements which have been achieved under the last 4 years in the health sector.
So that we move this forward.
And you know what I say? I come from a region which has never produced a president or a prime minister like Jakoyo. In where we come from, in the pastoral areas, the mortality rate for children and mothers was very high. They used to deliver under the tree. Today, our mothers in the pastoral community can walk to the nearest health center, and the bill is sent to Uhuru Kenyatta's government.
Again, you are claiming credit for things done by county government. I can tell you, when you send because it has to do with the president's address. In 2015,
and I'll bring that up.
Yes.
First, I'll just bring that up. One second, if you could just hold, so that we move this discussion forward. Duale has talked about healthcare and what is done, maternal healthcare, NHIF. You've talked about education.
Capitation.
You've talked about all that,
30%.
but you have said in terms of double-digit economic growth, you'll need time to do that.
Investment.
You have also talked about the 5 regional area, which you have agreed has not happened.
No, in fact, before June, because it's the budget.
Right, but it did not happen within the time limit that was set. That's the point.
Yes.
Yeah. You have said by tomorrow we'll know which 6,000 kilometers roads. You'll clarify.
Not even tomorrow.
We'll clarify.
Not even tomorrow. If you go to Kenya, Kera, Kura websites, they're all listed.
Okay, we'll look at
on the website.
You know, as we are government of.
But let me say this. Let me say this. You know, Duale can't get away with lying to Kenyans. Last year, in the last 8 months of last year, the economy of Kenya lost 135,000 jobs in the formal sector. Now, he says that the economy is improving and they need time. An economy that is losing jobs.
Can I tell you why the economy is improving?
I'm going to finish first. Let me finish.
I'll show you the indicators that show you that an economy is doing very well, but you finish.
No, an economy that can lay off a small economy of $63 billion, if it's losing 135,000 jobs in 8 months, something ought to be wrong. You know. Let me tell you why. And we always say, for you to be saved, you must admit you are a sinner. You know, the fact that Jubilee, with a hard face, is insisting that they are making progress when the country is heading south. I think
Hussein,
the price. Okay.
No, Hussein, before you go there, you know the point of departure between us and our competitors is that as an opposition, as a government in waiting, they're supposed to give us the alternative and the figures that we have done this in education. What are they going to do if they take over government?
Right.
That we have done the SGR. What are they going to do different? Okay. But let me give you about. Let me just
quick one on SGR,
because I did economics in college.
Yeah.
The indicators of a growing economy. Number one is international institutions that rate global economy in totality. The World Bank, the IMF, the International Financial Corporation, all of them at any time have given Kenya very, very good scores. One of the best countries in ease of doing business, one of the best investment destination in Africa. You go out, you go to the shilling. Globally, there was a serious recession. In 2013, 2014, 2015. Right. The shillings were dropping. Kenyan shilling to the dollar was one of the few countries that the drop was less than 10%. Right. If you compare with the Turkish lira, for example,
your argument is dry.
Here is the paradox, though. Here is the paradox, Honorable Duale.
So I'm telling you, you know, from a layman point of view,
a layman wants
just say food on the table. Say 13,000 jobs lost. The price of unga, the price of a bus fare from Garissa to Nairobi in 2002 was 250 shilling. Today, I mean, in last government, it was 800 shilling. There's no economy where the price elasticity is constant.
Right, but I mean,
even his income, as the income grows, prices don't stay static.
But this
is the only government.
The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. This is towards the end of 2016. It's in their report. They say the high cost of food remains a key risk, and it's the one that pushes inflation in this country.
You know why?
You talked about when you were campaigning. You talked about reducing inflation and reducing the high cost of living, and of course,
absolutely,
food and unga is at the heart of it.
absolutely. The Kenyan market cannot be viewed as a single entity island market. The last 4 years, there was a serious global recession in the oil prices. Let me tell you, okay? That affected not only Kenya in terms of inflation. If you look at, you view Kenya in the context of the global environment. There were serious parameters that affected Kenya globally, including the inflation rate.
Okay.
You cannot look at.
You know why I'm letting you talk so much?
No, because you have nothing to
because
you have nothing to say.
Watching you. I want them to see all they can get from Jubilee. You asked, you are doing SGR. What would the government in waiting? And for real, you have 5 months. You have to go.
That is
but I'm telling you.
Do you know the value of SGR?
If you can invest 600 billion shillings on a rail line and bring diesel locomotives, used ones for that matter, painted, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What would NASA do differently? We will bring the originally promised electric trains. But let me tell you, look at the transport system in Nairobi. If you said NASA will bring what? The originally promised proper electric trains.
NASA, they were in government. Raila Odinga was in government for over 30 years.
Who was the president?
Kalonzo Musyoka was in government for over 20 years.
Who was the president?
Mozo Wetangula was the Minister for Trade.
Who was the president?
Okay. And how come he didn't bring?
Honorable Duale,
but Hussein, if you allow me.
I will allow you, but after I ask this question. After I ask this question, please.
Yes.
First, you talked about Kenya being being ranked highly with some of this. But here is the paradox, and this is what he's talking about. Again, this is KNBS talking about. There's a report on micro, small, and medium establishments. Talking about 2.2 million micro, small, and medium enterprises shut down in the last 5 years. Shut down.
Shut down what? Shut down their business.
Exactly.
Yes. Gone out of business.
Hussein, through the Jubilee government procurement affirmative action for youth and women, over the number you are saying are today more vibrant in the same small and micro finance sector. But let me come to the SGR. Why do you want to do the SGR? Number one, you asked. Number one, let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
We were using a railway line that was as old as 150 years. Colonial time. Today, the new railway line will take you to Mombasa passenger train within 4 hours. The same railway line will reduce the cost of transport for all the containers that will come from Mombasa. That reduced cost in transport means that reduced cost in goods.
Right.
The investment in totality. Let me finish.
Why would somebody?
Let me finish.
What
are figures? Let me finish. The investment we are putting in infrastructure, in energy, and in all other key sectors, huge investments in the long run. And tell me of any country, Singapore, Korea, Malaysia. There's no country, Dubai, there's no UAE, there's no country in the world that wants to grow its economy by even above double digit that will say we will not invest in infrastructure.
Okay.
Whether energy or road.
We have to move on.
But he said, I want to say two things. A poor country like Kenya, if you're going to invest in a project like SGR, by the way, it is the most expensive project ever undertaken in Africa. A Kenyan SGR. Look at what Tanzania is doing. Look at what Ethiopia is doing. Where Kibaki Raila left SGR, they have done over 200 billion more. Kenyans, who left? where Raila Kibaki government left last year.
I was within government.
Yes, but
there was last year.
But then he talks about now he talks about the affirmative action.
There was last year.
It's amazing that you are both in government.
I want to send you somewhere, Honorable Duale.
Yes.
There is a son to a youthful son to a senior government official who is enjoying that 30%, and people in your government are complaining.
You are a member of Parliament. How come you have not raised it in Parliament?
Let me just
Why are you not raising it in Parliament?
See, I'm
and
sending
ask
you
for
somewhere.
investigation to this son.
No.
Because, you know, that is because when it comes to corruption, you lead from the front.
But it's a fair question.
That is why you are the leader of minority.
Okay.
What if I told you when people learned I was coming here, I've only heard of it in the last 1 hour?
You are joking.
I'm not joking.
You're joking.
I am
that
telling
you've learned about this in the last 1 hour.
Can you bring it to Parliament on Thursday?
If you dare me,
I want to challenge
you know how it goes. If you dare me,
I want to challenge you.
Honorable Midiwo, you're a parliamentarian.
But I am telling the point I need to make. The point I need to make, if you let me, is that the affirmative action which he is talking about is being enjoyed by a few people. In fact, the corruption in the Ministry of Health had to do with affirmative action, an element of it. And you know, they are who in who.
You know, let me tell you, Hussein. Honorable Jakoyo is my former colleague, a man I respect a lot, is part of the leadership. You know, there should be a state of the nation on the failures of the opposition in as far as oversighting.
Okay.
He is a deputy, let me finish. He is a deputy minority leader. This culture of talking about corruption in funerals, in talk shows, should stop. You have the powers to work to EACC, you have the powers to work to the DPP, you have the powers to raise. As a parliamentarian, you have a role to oversight. Why are you not doing it? Why do you have to do it?
Let me answer. Where have we failed? We told you about NYS, why Guru is still walking the streets. We told you about Eurobond, and it went all the way.
Can I answer?
Up to the highest office of the land.
Can I answer?
We told you about Youth Fund. In fact, the CEO of Youth Fund came to Parliament.
Let him finish.
And said, admitted theft of 400 million shillings for the youth. And then you keep telling us we are doing nothing. And I told you once that, you know, opposition is properly led, and our leaders, especially Raila Odinga, if Raila tells you your wife is pregnant with twins, you go shopping.
It's because I don't come from Low Nyanza.
Go shopping.
Come from Low Nyanza who believe if Raila says that.
But where do you think? And I like to look at you're responding, Honorable Duale. I'd just like to play a clip here. This is the 2015. It's on the same line. 2015 corruption. When Uhuru Kenyatta was talking about corruption in 2015, this is what he said in the State of the Nation address then.
Today, however, and for the sake of transparency, I take the extraordinary step of attaching the aforementioned confidential report from the CEO of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission as an annex to my annual report on values to Parliament. As a consequence, I also hereby direct that all officials of the national and county governments that are adversely mentioned in this report, whether you are a cabinet secretary, principal secretary, or chief executive of a state institution, to immediately step aside pending conclusion.
We could see then there was actually a standing ovation and from across the political divide. Do you think you dropped the ball since?
So
many people have been tweeting about corruption.
Honorable Jakoyo has said it, that there's still the mystery of NYS is unresolved. Who is the chair of Public Accounts Committee? Honorable Gumbo is an opposition-led committee. Eurobond is Gumbo who is sitting on it. NYS and Waiguru and all that talk about, the person sitting on is the opposition. Tonight you are asking me and him, why is this report taking that long?
I did not.
Let me finish your time. So the opposition have failed. Public Investment Committee, Youth Fund. The chair is Arid Kainan, is an opposition member of parliament until 2 days ago. But let me come to the address of the president. This is the only administration under President Uhuru Kenyatta that has walked the talk on the war against corruption. 7 ministers, some of them very close. To the contrary, when Charity Ngilu was mentioned in corruption, Raila Odinga went to Kitui and defended her. You know that. Uhuru Kenyatta sacked 7 ministers, some of them very close. Chief of Staff of the Deputy President, permanent secretaries, a host on mere allegations.
On mere allegations. And a conviction is yet to be... We're yet to see even one conviction.
On mere allegations,
right.
He told them, leave my government.
Right.
This is the only government, the only administration that has given more resources to institutions that fight corruption.
Okay.
EACC, DPP. So let me finish. So let me finish. So on mere allegations.
On mere allegations. So where did it change? No. Let me ask a question. If you're saying it's on mere allegations, where did it change? Because Honorable Duale and Midiwo was asking, we have had other cases of corruption, including the Ministry of Health. People are being investigated on mere allegations.
Let me finish.
Nobody has been sacked.
The president's role was to make sure on mere allegations you step aside of his government.
Well, why did he stop?
Let me finish. The other function is not the function of the president. It is the function of the investigating institution, which is the ACC. It is the Director of Public Prosecution for prosecuting, and it is the judiciary. So Kenyans must ask that the president has walked the talk. What is wrong with these other key institutions?
Fair. So when it is Charity Ngilu or my friend Michael Kamau, mere allegations are good. But when it is Muraguri, who is close to
Muraguri is under investigation.
And what? Why is he not stepping aside?
Told to step aside.
I mean, stepping aside is the standard.
IBC.
Just a minute. You talk. When it is Muraguri, lips are tight. When it was the other ones, when you are playing politics, what you are not telling us that when the president read that list, you are not saying that IBC was deleted. You know that document, you have seen it, that it was whitewashed. That is Hakasan. The chicken gate. The chicken gate. He duped us. This is the propaganda. He duped us into thinking that he had the goodwill to fight corruption.
So if the president can keep a whole opposition, and can clap for him, and standing ovation, then
it calls on dishonest.
Honorable Midiwo, then the opposition as well has been accused of playing double standards.
Yes.
We saw when there was an investigation in Kilifi, when Raila Odinga said people should ape what Governor Kingi is doing. Yet Governor Kingi was alleged to have been involved, and he was actually taken to the EACC. That was one time the opposition has been cited for. The opposition has been cited.
His own governor.
Double standards. Again. County governments, everybody knows, and there are so many cases in the EACC across the divide, from all the political divide, people being investigated, yet we have not seen the opposition being, despite the opposition commanding majority counties, the opposition being very firm with this county government.
No,
when it comes to corruption.
I am a deputy minority leader. I have been very thorough in my criticism of corruption in counties, including my own county. Now let me tell you.
Has the opposition been? You're talking to Duale and you're today criticizing the government, isn't it?
I am criticizing the government.
Has the opposition been? Do you think they have been?
But listen, Hussein. Which is the single institution charged with fighting corruption? It's the EACC. Now I have said that you will not fight corruption if the Secretariat of EACC is still left intact, and I can tell you nothing will happen. Now let me take you to Kilifi. Governor Kingi is the one who accused his own people. Duale and the ilk decided to play politics. The governor called the EACC.
No.
In Kilifi.
What about Kidero? What about Kidero?
But he's being investigated.
And the 2.7 billion.
Yes, but he's been investigated.
What about your own governor?
He's being investigated. But now what we are saying, why
is your party leader not talking?
The Jubilee government being
the
government under the new the first government under the new constitution should have midwife this issue about fight against corruption. The only problem, because but I wanted to clarify. I wanted to clear one thing. I wanted to clear one thing. You know, when he says that Gumbo and Kainan head these watchdog committees, the answer is yes. But who enforces the law? It is the ASCC. Now, when the Auditor General,
is Gumbo
playing politics I can tell you it will be there before Parliament tomorrow, and I've been told when I was
tomorrow is the day for the President. Nobody can table any report.
Let me tell you, reports are to be tabled, because when the Auditor General when the Auditor General appears to be investigating Eurobond, appears to be investigating
playing politics.
But that is not for you to decide. This is
the police insurance tender. What do you see? Frivolous petitions in Parliament.
You're talking about fighting corruption. Why would you say it's playing politics?
Yeah.
Let me tell you,
an independent talk.
Let me tell you, Hussein, I said today on the floor of the House, it's very, very sad that these guys, the opposition, removed Kenyans, including one of them from my constituency called Isaka San, from office through demonstration when they have not committed any crime. The Auditor General...
saying chicken get
no, can I finish? The Auditor General, like the way Kaimenyi was discussed, was impeached in the House, the way Monica Juma was rejected, the way 2 EACC chairs were removed, just because of ethnic politics. The petition against the Auditor General is raising issues. But let me finish.
That is a matter finish with this point. That both of you agree.
Let me finish.
That both of you agree there's a big problem with corruption in this country. But both of you, being majority in Parliament Jubilee, and even the opposition, none of you has talked about.
No, you are taking my time.
I just want to ask a question, then you'll finish the point. The question is, we have not seen either from Jubilee or the opposition in Parliament any progressive law that will bring about drastic change in the way we are handling corruption in this country.
We have not seen anything from both sides. There is no absence of laws.
Let me tell you. That's why you're going wrong.
You wind up,
and I'm sure you'll agree with me. It's only this Parliament where serious progressive laws in the war against corruption, money laundering, terrorist financing.
But yes, still there's corruption.
Let me finish. This is the first Parliament that did anti-bribery bill targeting the private sector. We have done serious amendments to the money law proceeds of crime and the money laundering bill. We are the first people to set up the Asset Recovery Center. But you know what I'm saying? The difference between the opposition and the ruling coalition is like day and night. Let me finish. My last word. You look at the history of the leadership of NASA, and I'll give you only one. The man called Musalia Mudavadi. This is a guy who has been indicted by Parliament on cemetery land corruption deal.
Right. My
final comment is passing laws in one thing, but goodwill. The president of the country, the Jubilee government, do not inspire confidence. And let me tell you, Kenyans would be so wrong to allow a government that is killing us of hunger to be re-elected or to stay in office. They have never been elected.
For me, I think.
All right. Fine. We have to look at the polls. We have to look at the polls.
No, I think my last word. My last word is my last word is that tomorrow the president will give his achievement. Kenyans will see. They can feel it. They can touch it. They see it in every corner. He introduced equity, and we are very, very happy that we will win the next election.
Right. Do you think the government has delivered on its promises? If we can look at that. So far, this is a Twitter poll. 30% yes, 70% no. Of course, it's not scientific, it's a Twitter poll. But keep talking to us.
I say
hashtag. The hashtag is the big question. And you can also text us. Is the number 22422. We are back after this break.